Today we're going to take a look back at the unforgettable cast of Titanic. Some have made incredible journeys, and some, sadly, left us too soon. Can you still remember the laughter, the tears, and the breathtaking moments aboard that ill-fated ship? It's hard to believe that nearly 3 decades have passed since we first met these characters and watched their stories unfold against the backdrop of one of history's greatest tragedies. In this video, we'll revisit the lives of the actors who brought Titanic to life, from their youthful days in 1997 to where they are now in 2025. You'll see their then and now images, learn about their careers before and after the film, and discover the triumphs, struggles, and personal stories that have shaped their lives over the years. If you enjoy this nostalgic journey, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can bring you more unforgettable stories from the movies we love. And you might just be surprised at how one member of the cast looks today. Jack Dawson, portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio, became one of the most iconic romantic leads in cinema history. Jack's free spirit, artistic passion, and unwavering bravery captured the hearts of millions, especially in his selfless sacrifice for Rose. Leonardo was born on November 11, 1974, and was just 22 when Titanic premiered in 1997. As of 2025, he remains one of Hollywood's most respected actors, known for roles in The Revenant, Inception, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. His career has spanned critically acclaimed performances and environmental activism. Fans still associate him with the charm and warmth of Jack Dawson, and despite decades of success, Leonardo often reflects fondly on the film that catapulted him to global fame, crediting Titanic for opening doors that shaped his enduring legacy. Rose DeWitt Bukater, played by Kate Winslet, is the heart of Titanic's emotional journey. A young woman torn between duty and desire, who finds courage and love aboard the doomed ship. Kate, born October 5, 1975, was only 21 when she took on the role that would define a generation of romance on screen. As of 2025, she continues to shine with acclaimed performances in projects like Mayor of Easttown and The Reader, earning multiple awards, including an Academy Award. Beyond her career, Kate is celebrated for her advocacy on body positivity and women's rights. To audiences, Rose remains an emblem of resilience and transformation, and Kate has often shared how deeply the role impacted her both personally and professionally. Cal Hockley, brought to life by Billy Zane, was the wealthy and controlling fiancé whose arrogance contrasted sharply with Jack's humble sincerity. Billy, born February 24, 1966, was 31 during Titanic's release. As of 2025, he remains active in both film and television, as well as in the art world. Though often remembered for Cal's villainous charm, Billy has embraced the role's legacy. Recognizing its impact on his career, he has appeared in cult favorites like The Phantom, and continues to connect with fans at conventions and special events. Despite playing the antagonist, Billy's portrayal gave Cal a memorable complexity, making him one of cinema's most notable characters of the 1990s. Molly Brown, portrayed by Kathy Bates, brought warmth, humor, and strength to Titanic's tragic tale. Known as the unsinkable Molly Brown, she was the spirited socialite who befriended Jack and stood up for him in first-class society. Kathy, born June 28, 1948, was 49 when Titanic premiered. As of 2025, she remains a beloved figure in Hollywood, celebrated for her roles in Misery, American Horror Story, and Richard Jewell. She has won multiple awards and continues to work across film, television, and theater. Kathy has often spoken about the joy of playing Molly, whose courage and generosity mirrored the actress's own compassion in real life. Ruth DeWitt Bukater, played by Frances Fisher, embodied the societal pressures and rigid class expectations of the early 20th century. Ruth's stern demeanor and determination to secure her daughter's future made her a complex figure in the story. Frances, born May 11, 1952, was 45 at the time of Titanic's release. As of 2025, she continues to act in both television and film, with appearances in Unforgiven, Watchmen, and the series Resurrection. Known for her versatility, Frances has embraced roles that challenge perceptions, much like Ruth did in her own way. She remains grateful for Titanic's lasting legacy and the global recognition it brought to her career. Old Rose, portrayed by Gloria Stewart, brought a gentle dignity to Titanic's opening and closing frames, guiding viewers through Rose's memories with grace and emotion. Gloria, born July 4, 1910, was 87 when Titanic premiered in 1997, marking a remarkable return to the screen after decades away. Her performance earned her an Academy Award nomination, making her one of the oldest nominees in history. Gloria passed away on September 26, 2010, at the age of 100, after a long and fulfilling life. In her final years, she remained beloved by fans, often recalling how Titanic gave her a second wave of fame. Her portrayal of Old Rose remains a treasured piece of cinema, a bridge between the past and present that still moves audiences in 2025. Brock Lovett, played by Bill Paxton, was the modern-day treasure hunter whose search for the heart of the ocean frames Titanic's story. Bill, born May 17, 1955, was 42 when the film premiered. Known for his versatility in hits like Apollo 13, Aliens, and Twister, he brought humor and humanity to Brock's role. Sadly, Bill passed away on February 25, 2017, at the age of 61 due to complications from surgery. His loss was deeply felt across the film industry as colleagues and fans remembered him as a kind, generous presence on and off set. In Titanic, his scenes bookend the film with curiosity and warmth, making him an unforgettable part of its legacy even decades later. Spicer Lovejoy, played by David Warner, was Cal Hockley's loyal but coldly calculating valet, adding an extra layer of menace to Rose and Jack's struggle. David, born July 29, 1941, had a long and varied career in film and television, appearing in classics like The Omen and Tron. He was 55 when Titanic premiered. David passed away on July 24, 2022, at the age of 80, after a cancer-related illness. His passing was met with tributes from across the acting world, honoring his versatility and professionalism. As Lovejoy, David's icy demeanor and understated menace made him a perfect foil for the film's heroes, cementing his place in Titanic's memorable cast. Thomas Andrews, portrayed by Victor Garber, was the ship's designer, depicted with compassion, humility, and quiet heroism. Victor, born March 16, 1949, was 48 when Titanic premiered. As of 2025, he continues to act on stage and screen, known for his roles in Alias, Argo, and Legends of Tomorrow. Garber's portrayal of Andrews resonated deeply with audiences, especially in his final scenes of acceptance and sorrow as the ship met its fate. He has often expressed pride in being part of such a monumental film and in portraying a historical figure remembered for his humanity. His performance remains one of the most touching in the film's ensemble, embodying quiet courage in the face of catastrophe. Captain Edward John Smith, portrayed by Bernard Hill, embodied leadership, composure, and quiet sorrow as he guided the Titanic through its doomed voyage. Bernard, born on December 17, 1944, was 52 when the film premiered in 1997. Sadly, he passed away on May 5, 2024, at the age of 79. His death was mourned across the film industry, with tributes highlighting his commanding presence and the humanity he brought to every role. Known for his acclaimed performances in the Lord of the Rings trilogy and other distinguished works, Bernard's portrayal of Captain Smith remains one of his most memorable. The poignancy of his final moments on the bridge, calmly accepting his fate, has become an enduring symbol of dignity in the face of tragedy, ensuring his legacy will live on with audiences well beyond 2025. Bruce Ismay, portrayed by Jonathan Hyde, was the White Star Line executive whose survival after the disaster made him one of history's most controversial figures. Jonathan, born May 21, 1948, was 49 when Titanic premiered in 1997. As of 2025, he continues to work in film, television, and theater, with notable credits in Jumanji, The Mummy, and The Strain. Known for his skill in playing refined yet morally complex characters, Jonathan brought nuance to Ismay, showing both his ambition and his moments of fear. While history often paints Ismay harshly, Jonathan's performance allowed audiences to see the humanity in a man facing unimaginable pressure, leaving a lasting impression that still sparks debate nearly 3 decades later. Lizzie Calvert, played by Susie Amos, served as the modern-day granddaughter of Rose, listening with quiet fascination as her grandmother recounted her time aboard the Titanic. Susie, born January 5, 1962, was 35 during the film's release. Not long after Titanic, she stepped away from acting to focus on environmental activism and education, co-founding the MUSE School in California. As of 2025, she remains devoted to her advocacy work alongside her husband, director James Cameron. Though her screen time in Titanic was brief, Susie's warm, genuine presence as Lizzie helped frame the film's emotional storytelling, giving audiences a direct connection between past and present. Fabrizio, portrayed by Danny Nucci, was Jack Dawson's lively and loyal Italian friend, whose humor and optimism provided some of the film's most endearing moments. Danny, born September 15, 1968, was 28 when Titanic premiered. As of 2025, he remains active in film and television, with credits in The Rock, Alive, and numerous TV dramas. Fans remember Fabrizio's charm and his heartbreaking fate during the ship's sinking, which added a layer of personal loss to the tragedy. Danny has often expressed gratitude for the role, recognizing how it connected him with audiences around the world and remains a beloved part of his career. Tommy Ryan, played by Jason Barry, was the spirited Irish steerage passenger who befriended Jack and Fabrizio, bringing warmth and humor to the lower decks. Jason, born April 14, 1972, was 25 when Titanic premiered. As of 2025, he continues to act in both Irish and international productions, while also working behind the camera as a producer. Tommy's wit and resilience made him a fan favorite, and Jason's authentic performance ensured the character felt like a real friend to viewers. The poignancy of Tommy's fate during the disaster remains one of the film's most gut-wrenching moments. First Officer William Murdoch, portrayed by Ewan Stewart, was a key figure on the ship's bridge during the fateful night. Ewan, born August 23, 1957, was 40 at the time of Titanic's release. As of 2025, he continues acting on stage and screen, with roles in films like Rob Roy and numerous British television series. Stewart's portrayal of Murdoch captured both the professionalism and the moral weight of command during a crisis. His dignified yet tragic final moments in the film left a deep emotional mark, ensuring the character's place in Titanic's enduring legacy. Fifth Officer Harold Lowe, portrayed by Iowan Grufford, was remembered in Titanic for his decisive and heroic actions during the evacuation, being one of the few officers to return for survivors in the freezing Atlantic. Iowan, born October 6, 1973, was only 23 when the film premiered in 1997. As of 2025, he remains active in film and television, known for roles in Horatio Hornblower, Fantastic Four, and Harrow. His portrayal of Lowe added a rare moment of hope in the midst of tragedy, and Iowan has often reflected on how the role allowed him to honor a real-life hero whose courage left an enduring mark on history. Second Officer Charles Littler, played by Johnny Phillips, was depicted as a disciplined and steadfast officer helping oversee the evacuation. Johnny, born September 5, 1963, was 34 during Titanic's release. As of 2025, he continues to work in theater, film, and television, with credits in The Edge of Love and The Death of Stalin. His performance gave Lightoller a quiet strength, reflecting the real officer's reputation for duty and resilience, and adding authenticity to the ship's bridge scenes during the crisis. Chief Officer Henry Wilde, brought to life by Mark Lindsay Chapman, was a presence of authority among the ship's command. Mark, born September 8, 1954, was 43 when Titanic premiered. As of 2025, he remains involved in acting and occasional directing, with appearances in Swamp Thing, The Langoliers, and other television projects. His portrayal lent weight to the film's depiction of the officers, helping ground the narrative in historical reality. Though Chief Officer Wilde's on-screen moments were brief, Chapman's performance contributed to the film's rich ensemble dynamic. Quartermaster Robert Hitchens, portrayed by Paul Brightwell, was shown at the wheel during the Titanic's collision with the iceberg and later in charge of one of the lifeboats. Paul, born in 1963, was 34 during the film's release. As of 2025, he continues working in British television, theater, and film, known for his versatility. His performance brought intensity to Hitchens' tense lifeboat scenes, leaving audiences with a strong impression of the human conflicts that arose even in moments of survival. Quartermaster George Rowe, played by Richard Graham, was the dedicated crew member who helped relay crucial messages and assist in the ship's final hours. Richard, born May 10, 1960, was 37 when Titanic premiered. As of 2025, he remains an active actor in film and television, appearing in projects such as Gangs of New York and Coronation Street. His portrayal of Roe added realism and heart to the film's ensemble, ensuring that even smaller historical figures received the dignity and recognition they deserved. Master-at-Arms, portrayed by Ron Donacci, was the ship's firm-handed authority responsible for maintaining order on board, most memorably seen arresting Jack Dawson during the chaos of the sinking. Born on April 26, 1956, Ron was 41 when Titanic premiered in 1997. As of 2025, he continues to work steadily in film and television, earning recognition for roles in Game of Thrones, Filth, and numerous acclaimed British dramas. His portrayal of the Master-at-Arms added a sense of realism to the depiction of the ship's hierarchy, showing how a commitment to rules could come into sharp conflict with the desperate human struggle for survival. Even in a supporting role, Ron's presence left a lasting impression, reminding audiences of the many unseen crew members whose duties carried heavy moral weight in moments of crisis. John Jacob Astor IV, played by Eric Braeden, was one of the wealthiest and most prominent passengers aboard the Titanic, a man whose real-life death became one of the most talked-about tragedies of the disaster. Eric, born April 3, 1941, was 56 when the film premiered. As of 2025, he is celebrated for his decades-long portrayal of Victor Newman on The Young and the Restless, a role that has made him a household name. In Titanic, Eric brought refinement and understated humanity to Astor, portraying him not just as a figure of wealth, but as a man facing his final hours with dignity. His composed, respectful performance allowed audiences to feel the weight of loss when Astor met his fate, making him one of the film's quietly powerful presences. Madeline Astor, portrayed by Charlotte Chatton, was the young pregnant wife of John Jacob Astor, shown surviving the tragedy while her husband perished. Charlotte, born January 13, 1975, was only 22 when Titanic premiered, bringing a natural warmth and authenticity to the role. As of 2025, she has largely stepped back from acting to focus on producing and writing, dedicating her creative energy behind the scenes. Though her time on screen was brief, Charlotte's delicate performance conveyed the quiet grief of a woman enduring an unimaginable loss. Her portrayal offered a poignant counterpoint to the grandeur and chaos of the sinking, reminding audiences that Titanic's story was also one of personal heartbreak and resilience. Colonel Archibald Gracie IV, brought to life by Bernard Fox, was the courteous and gallant gentleman who assisted in the evacuation before surviving on an overturned collapsible lifeboat. Bernard, born May 11, 1927, was 70 at the time of Titanic's release. He passed away on December 14, 2016, at the age of 89, leaving behind a long career in television and film, including beloved roles in Bewitched and Hogan's Heroes. His performance as Colonel Gracie added an air of old-world charm and honor, portraying a man who faced danger with composure and selflessness. Even in limited screen time, Bernard captured the spirit of courage that became a hallmark of the Titanic story, making his scenes resonate long after the credits rolled. Benjamin Guggenheim, portrayed by Michael Ensign, delivered one of the film's most unforgettable moments, calmly dressing in his finest evening wear and declaring he would go down like gentlemen alongside his valet. Born February 13th, 1944, Michael was 53 when the movie premiered. As of 2025, he remains active in acting with a career spanning film, television, and voice work. His brief but impactful performance as Guggenheim perfectly encapsulated themes of dignity, acceptance, and courage in the face of certain death. It became one of the film's most enduring images, symbolizing the grace with which some met their fate on that fateful night. Michael's portrayal ensured that the memory of Benjamin Guggenheim's real-life final act would live on vividly for generations. Irish Mommy, portrayed by Jeanette Goldstein, was a tender yet heartbreaking presence in Titanic, shown comforting her children in steerage as the ship's fate became clear. Jeanette, born February 4th, 1960, was 37 when the film premiered in 1997. As of 2025, she remains known for her versatility in films such as Aliens and Terminator 2, as well as her work in theater and running her own business. Her brief role in Titanic left a lasting emotional mark. Without words, she embodied the quiet heroism of mothers protecting their children in impossible circumstances. That haunting scene has remained one of the most poignant in the film, resonating deeply with audiences for nearly 3 decades. Cora Cartmel, brought to life by Alex Owen Sarno, was the young steerage girl who danced with Jack Dawson in one of Titanic's most joyful moments. Alex, born November 9th, 1988, was just 8 years old when she filmed her scenes, making her the youngest credited actor in the main cast. As of 2025, she continues to engage with fans, attending Titanic events and sharing her experiences from the set, though she has pursued other creative endeavors beyond acting. Her sweet, natural performance as Cora has remained a fan favorite, symbolizing the innocence and joy that made Titanic's love story even more poignant in contrast to the tragedy that followed. Chief Baker Charles Joughan, portrayed by Liam Tuohy, was shown assisting with the evacuation and later surviving in the freezing waters. A nod to the real-life Baker's remarkable endurance. Liam, born in Ireland, was in his early 50s when the film premiered. As of 2025, he remains remembered by Titanic enthusiasts for bringing to life one of the ship's most unusual historical survival stories. Though his screen time was brief, his role offered a touch of authenticity, reminding audiences that some real crew members displayed extraordinary resilience in the face of disaster. Ida Strauss, played by Elsa Raven, was half of the elderly couple whose love story became one of Titanic's most enduring legends. Born September 21st, 1929, Elsa was 67 at the time of the film's release. She passed away on November 3rd, 2020, at the age of 91. Her performance, alongside Lou Poulter as Isidore Strauss, captured the deep devotion of a couple choosing to face their fate together rather than be parted. Elsa's graceful portrayal ensured that Ida's real-life act of love remained one of the most touching moments in the film. Isidore Strauss, portrayed by Lou Poulter, was the devoted husband of Ida, whose final moments with his wife became an iconic symbol of enduring love. Lou, born November 3rd, 1928, was 68 when Titanic premiered. He passed away on May 21st, 2023, at the age of 94. His dignified performance brought warmth and gravitas to Isidore, giving depth to a character with limited screen time. Together with Elsa Raven, he created one of the film's most memorable and heart-wrenching images, a reminder that in the midst of chaos, love can be the final anchor. And so as we look back on the unforgettable faces of Titanic, we're reminded that these performances were more than just roles. They became a part of our own memories, carrying with them the laughter, the heartbreak, and the timeless lessons of love and courage. Nearly 3 decades later, their legacy still sails on, touching new hearts with every viewing. Which actor did you grow up watching? Share your memories with us in the comments.